This is Mark Kelley, quarterbacks coach, offensive coordinator at Conway High School. I was asked to present on quarterback play and some fundamentals that we teach our guys and drills that we do every day, and highlight the keys that we think create a quarterback that can be extremely efficient in our spread offense and help lead to winning games, put up a lot of yards. Just to touch on the things that we're going to cover in this video, the first thing that we look at with our quarterbacks is our drops and what kind of drops we're going to have for what routes. Then we're going to look at how we create balance, which I think is key to creating accuracy and consistency in the quarterback play. And then also we're going to look at ball handling, how we get a ton of reps, and then the communication and living in reality with your quarterbacks, which you have to do with every single quarterback on your roster. When we talk about drops with our quarterbacks, the main thing that we want to make sure of is that we're ready to throw the ball when the wide receiver is open. If our feet are still moving or we're not on balance, then our drop's not good, the timing's not going to be good, and the ball placement's not going to be good. We're not going to be able to throw a catchable ball. Next thing is we definitely don't want to rush our feet. We want to make sure that our feet are set, we have our back foot in the ground, and we're able to drive and use our hips to throw the ball. We're not trying to get just a big three or anything like that. We're going to one-step most of the things that we do and be ready to get the ball out. Another big thing that we always want to do on our drops is create balance. If we're not creating balance and we're not able to stride through every single throw because we're off balance, then it's not going to be accurate. We're not going to be nearly the quarterbacks that we can be. So real quick, we'll look at the two different drops we have. We just have a quick game drop, which may just be a punch step and then flipping our hips. And then we just have a one step where we're getting one big step and then we're getting some gather steps so we can move vertically into the pocket so then we can drive the ball downfield. We'll take a look at it with some clips from this past season and then also some drills that we do typically every single day. First drill we're going to look at is just what we call pops. A lot of people call them ROAs, different things like that, but we'll talk about the setup of it. Typically, whenever we have four quarterbacks, we'll have both sides going. We'll have four receivers getting routes and all that stuff. I have one coach over here as well giving them a read and landmarks and all that stuff. But if you only have two quarterbacks, and this is the way that we're doing it in the offseason right now, then we're just going to work one side at a time. I'll be behind right here. This is where the quarterback coach is. The only thing I'm looking for is these guys to be on balance and being able to throw the ball within the window and the timing that we're looking for. If they're off as far as their timing and everything, that's pretty much the only thing that I'm talking about during this drill. This route right here is one of those things where we have a quick game look right there, basically with a quick slant. Then we've got one deeper right there. So both quarterbacks should have their quick game drop, maybe a punch step, maybe just flipping their hips, ready to throw that right off the back of this coach right here. And that's why we put the coach there, so they can work that window. And then we'll have another coach here typically for that vertical read where he can sit that down. Typically we allow 10 minutes for this, and we'll get 5 or 6 2x2 routes, and then we'll get 3 or 4 3x1 routes. Go really quickly. Everybody's going to go through once. Once they get through, they say top right there for the receiver, and then we'll go to the next route, whether it's an install or whether it's just running something that we've ran since day one. But again, all we're looking for is getting loose. This is the way that we warm up. We're trying to get those routes thrown and caught in windows. We're working our timing with the quarterback and receiver. Obviously, if everything's perfect right there with no jam and no rush up front. Here's a look of some pops here from our first week of throwing and catching in the offseason. As you can see, quarterback over to the left is a little bit tighter to the line of scrimmage than he probably should be. Should be more like 4.5. But what we're doing is we're getting a snap, and they know that I've got to be ready to throw this very first ball right off the back of that outside linebacker, which is a coach right there. I'm standing right where the camera is, and all we're talking about is timing. Did we throw it through a window? Are we letting the receiver get too far across the field? What are we doing as far as that's concerned? And just getting a lot of reps. But as you can see, both these guys, as that guy's coming into the window right behind that outside linebacker, they have their feet set and they're ready to stride and throw that thing through that window. The quarterback over here, instead of throwing that ball, he's going to see it, and then he's going to reset outside to his second read, which is a vertical read right there on the outside to throw and catch. Whenever you look at the drops here, not going to get overly complicated with it, but right here, the quarterback on the right, he gets a little punch step, and then he flips his hips. On the left right here, he just turns his hips, and he's ready to throw. As long as they are ready to throw at that point and they have good balance and they're ready to stride through, that's all that I'm worried about. I'm not going to overcoach it. I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Make sure that they're on balance and they're ready to use their hips to throw that ball with some velocity into that window whenever they need it. On this rip, there's something that we're trying to put in this offseason as far as this drill is concerned. This is after the third one. Typically, they're going to switch, and once they snap that last one, we want to step up, make them move just a little bit in the pocket so it's not just static and perfect for those guys. Like you see, he's stepping up right here. He shows hands, so he's having to throw over the top of that like it's a D lineman trying to get his hands up. He's sliding just a little bit for that second throw, but we look at it again. So punch step, both those guys are getting their hips around, ready to throw that in the window. Getting a little bit of a rush right there. He slides away from it just to create a little bit of space, and then he drills that. Both of them using their legs to throw the ball right there. This is a quick look of just our quick game timing from this past year. Our quarterback really liked to get that punch step as he's catching the ball. So there's a punch step, feet are set in the ground, and he's able to use his lower body. Timing on this one's really good. You can see that ball is out right now just as he's getting his head around. So really good timing right there on that throw and catch with the quick game footwork. Most of our routes, we're going to use our quick game footwork because we're typically going to have something that's either going to be a hot or there's going to be some quick game element for an arrow, slant, something like that, and a deeper route off of it. If we know that we're going vertical down the field, whether it's 4 verticals, whether we're really trying to take a shot, this is our one step, which could be called a quick 3, but really all we're doing right here, and this is a good look at it, is, again, if you're comfortable with it, get a punch step right there just like our quarterback did from this past year, and he's getting one big drop, and he's getting on balance right there with his feet underneath him, ready to step up in the pocket, just like he does right here. He's able to use his legs to throw this ball. Whole shot right there between the corner and the safety on some verticals, but I just thought that was a really good look of just one step, getting our feet underneath us, and we're able to use our legs to drive a ball vertical down the field with timing and accuracy. This is another good look of that one-step drop. Again, if you like the punch, do it, but if not, then take it out. Don't worry about it. Just get one big step so we can get away from the line just a little bit, and then we can work up in the pocket. But right there, one punch step, then one big step, and he's going to work up. And obviously these are things looking for the timing. That's all we're trying to do. We're trying to create a little bit of momentum to work up in the pocket as we're working our timing for deeper routes whenever we get that one-step throw right there. One of the first things we typically do throughout the day is throw the pops, and that gives us our timing and everything. The next thing we're going to do with our quarterbacks typically is talk about balance and work some different drills for that. If you have balance, you're going to be able to throw catchable balls, especially with the quick game, and also find your balance when everything's kind of weird with the RPOs, with riding the running back or stepping away to give your quarterback a little bit more room. But if they're not on balance, it's still going to be inaccurate, but they've got to find their balance quickly and be able to get the ball out accurately. And we'll show you a few drills that we use to give our quarterbacks a chance to be comfortable in that RPO world and also just having to move around the pocket and then finding their balance to get the ball out. This drill is one of our favorite ones, and I actually got it from the RFCA clinic when Brian Harsin was there. And what they do with their quarterbacks to create balance and everything, I really liked it. But typically we'd start facing each other, but right here I've got video of us facing the wall. There's another quarterback about 15 yards that direction. I got another quarterback right here. We're repping 2 guys throwing to each other at the same time. But right here, all we say is, hey, move, and they're crossing their feet over. And then when we call ball, we're trying to make sure that we get the ball as quickly as possible. And some things that we really want to emphasize on this is when we call ball, that right foot for a right-handed quarterback, it's getting into the ground, and this foot is still in the air, and he's finding his balance and striding at the same time. You don't want that foot to come down and then stride. That's taking a little bit too much time. You want them to whip their head around, find their target. So as soon as you call ball, find the target, find your balance as far as your back foot, whip your head around, find your target, balance, and we're striding at the same time. We're not landing with both feet and then striding. We're catching it with our right foot, and then we're striding to our target and being able to use our hips for an accurate ball right there on a really simple drill. We run this quite a bit. If we have about 2 or 3 minutes, we're going to run this drill every single day, and you can do a lot of different things. Keep their feet together and just go over and back on the line. Call ball, same thing. You can walk at them. You can walk backwards. You can just be really creative with it, and we'll look at a few other clips. In this clip, we're doing the same thing, but we've got our backs turned to our target right here. So the main thing that we're trying to do here, obviously, still finding balance. We're having to get our hips all the way around, move. Then we call ball, right foot in the ground. Left foot is still not in the ground yet. He's striding as he's finding his target. Just like if you have a full field read, maybe you got off your first read, now you got to whip your head around and find the target while that foot's in the air, so then you can be quick to get that ball out and throw an accurate ball. But we're going to do this a lot, try to help those guys find their balance and help those guys be able to be accurate whenever they get into their second and third read on their progression. Another real simple drill that we're going to do basically every single day is after that drill we're going to get on these lines and we're just going to work sprinting out and throwing on the run. And and then we'll get over here and we'll throw it back the other way. Not really so much because we're going to sprint out a ton, which we do sprint out, but really so that if we do get out of the pocket, they feel comfortable throwing on the run and being accurate whenever everything's not right and they're getting out of the pocket. As you can see right here, all we're doing is we're getting out. Hey, I want you to find a way to get your momentum going somewhat towards the target and get your shoulder around, throw an accurate ball right there while we're moving. Not trying to overcomplicate it, not trying to coach it way too much. Find a way to be accurate, get your shoulder around, use your core to throw the ball, and then we'll be accurate. But obviously, if we were sprinting out a lot more, we'd work this a ton. But really, we're working this for if we do have to get out of the pocket to throw the ball whenever we get a little bit of pressure. Here's a look from early in the year where we're throwing verticals, and you can see the one-step drop we have right here, but it's not there. We don't like it. So now he starts scrambling. He gets out of the pocket right there. And obviously, as a coach, you love to call a perfect play, but it doesn't work out very often. But you got to give your guys tools so that when they do get out of the pocket, they feel comfortable right here throwing on the run. You got a guy coming right here. You can't finish towards your throw. So right there, he finishes going that way, but he had done it enough that he felt comfortable with it and is able to throw an accurate ball right there with a little bit of pressure and not just run straight into it for a completion. And right here, it's a 3rd and 10. So this was a big completion right there. We were able to get a first down to keep a drive alive early in the game. First thing we worked was a perfect situation where we're getting good snaps. Our receivers aren't getting jammed. And if we can have great timing and great accuracy right there, that's a start. The next thing we looked at was maybe something was a little bit off. Maybe we had to reset our feet. Our receiver got jammed. Can we find our balance point as a quarterback and still be accurate? Or if we get flushed out of the pocket, can we still be accurate on the move where we're not finishing directly at our target? The next thing we'll look at is ball handling. We've got to be great with all the little things, whether it's a mesh, whether it's the RPO reads, bobbled snaps and stuff. They can kill your timing for the run game, for pass game, all that stuff. So we try to make it way more difficult than it typically will be on a Friday night. Get a ton of reps of all ball handling, and we do a few different drills, typically at least 5 minutes a day, just to create ball handling as far as meshes, reads, and different things with RPOs. First drill we're going to look at is one that I stole from Stephen Jones, who stole it from Northwestern State. It's kind of a 2-snap drill right here. We've got our quarterbacks here, backup quarterbacks. On the very first snap, we're getting it and we're handing the ball off on any kind of outside run. It could be inside run, whatever it is, just any kind of run that you tag with pre-snap RPOs out here. Out here, we're throwing a bubble and acting like we're running an inside zone or something like that. So on the very first snap, we're handing it off, getting a mesh. And then the next snap, as soon as that one's over, snap it to the quarterback. He's stepping back, realizing and remembering that that guy just ran straight through that space, so I've got to get away from that so I don't hit him, and then throw an accurate ball to the bubble right there. And obviously you could throw any kind of screen you want or anything that you do pre-snap for RPOs off this. Here's a look at this drill, and it's kind of weird because I got the film going vertical. And right here you can see the first snap, we're handing that ball off on inside zone. Second snap, got to step back, throw that bubble as quick as possible. Trying to put on his face mask so he can be accurate. But right there, snap it, running inside zone. Second ball, step back away from it, throw that bubble. In the future, we'll definitely be a little bit faster on this. This is the first day that we're running this really, but step back right there, get away from that angle, and then get the ball out of our hand. You can see it's getting a lot of reps in a short period of time, trying to get a lot of ball handling and making it a little bit more complicated than it usually is when you're going. This is a good look of that footwork from this past season. Before the ball snapped, he feels like he likes his number out there, so he's going to catch it, take one big step back, get away from the mesh, and then throw an accurate ball. Again, right foot's in the ground, left foot's not on the ground yet, and then he's drilling that thing with his legs, using his legs to get it out there, and now we're giving it to our guy with a chance to cut either way with a good, really accurate ball right there, a good block by the receiver. But just the footwork right there is what we're really looking at. As soon as you catch it, step back to avoid that running back, get it out as quickly as possible with an accurate ball, probably not getting the laces on that. And that's one of those things that you always have to communicate with them about. You may not get the laces, and that's fine. Get the ball out and work it so then they can be accurate whenever they don't have the laces and still throw with authority. The second drill is a little bit more intricate than the first, but what we're doing right here is we're working our post-snap downfield RPO reads on this. So obviously we're snapping the ball to the quarterback, and say we're running an outside zone or whatever you'd run that direction where you're reading this back or on a bubble or an arrow or whatever. So Quarterback catches the snap. He slides with it a little bit. If he stepped into the box, we would obviously throw that out there wide. If he widens out, he's going to hand the ball off. So if he hands the ball off, this is typically a coach, and I would have a ball, and I'd step out. And once he hands the ball off, I'd flip my hips. I'd throw it to the quarterback right there. He would get wide, and he would always pop his feet. He knows he's going to get a ball either way. If he doesn't get it early, he's going to get it late. Throw it to him right there, and then he gets it out as quick as possible. Working, again, quick game footwork, catch it, get my balance, and throw that thing with authority to that out, which is probably sit down and turn his numbers to the quarterback. So that's what we're showing over here on the left side. Coach giving the read. It's just the old option look where those guys, everybody's going to get a ball. And right here on this other side, you can see we have a slant or a bang 8 read right there. Again, reading the coach. If there's a chance to throw it, we're going to pull it and throw it depending on what our read is that week. And then if not, we hand the ball off on a run read, and then this coach is going to throw the quarterback a ball, and he's going to throw this post and may end up over there, but we're always going to throw a post. And if you got enough coaches, obviously you can get that running back downhill, give him a cut one way or another, and maybe toss him another ball so that everybody's finishing with the football right there. And we stole this. Obviously, we didn't come up with any of this stuff. We stole this from Tulsa and Philip Montgomery and what those guys have done. Obviously, it's just a lot of ball handling, a lot of footwork, and stuff like that where we're just getting a ton of reps within about a 4 or 5 minute period of just catching, throwing, getting meshes, and getting reads and all that stuff. Love this drill. We try to run it every single day. Here's a look at this drill right here. Catching a snap, getting our read right there. Would like to get that in his pocket a little bit more, but this is day one where we're working this. And then he goes right foot's in the ground, left foot striding, throwing a slant in there on the RPO with the correct read and pretty accurate ball right there. This look right here, we actually get a give read. You can see the defender coming down to take away the 3-step slant into that space for the slant. So we get a give here from the quarterback, and as soon as he gets the give, he should be getting ready for a ball to come right there from the coach. And right there, as soon as he catches it, get quick game footwork, right foot, left foot, get that ball out with accuracy, using our legs to throw the ball, which is pretty good rep right here, right foot, left foot, we're getting it out. So we're getting a mesh, we're handing the ball off, we're getting a read, and also we're getting our quick game footwork and getting the ball out quickly. Here's a look at this footwork in action, and right here you can see getting a little bit of a mesh right here with the running back, making sure that this linebacker steps down. When that linebacker steps down, feel good about that slant. Again, right foot, left foot, we're on balance, we're throwing an accurate ball right there on the slant for a big completion off of an easy read that we run every single day. This is a look of our RPO footwork where we're reading front side over here, so reading front side backer. Right there, again, catching the ball with our feet square, trying to get the ball to that back hip to get it to that running back. And as soon as we confirm what we were thinking pre-snap, flip your hips and get it out as quick as possible. Probably not going to have the laces. Right foot, we're getting our balance, and then that left foot is coming down as we're throwing the ball. Not quite as accurate as we were hoping, but the footwork right there is pretty good. Right foot, left foot, and that ball is getting out right there, giving our guy opportunity in space. Here's a look at this footwork going the other way, and you can see, again, catching the ball with our feet square, showing the ball right there, we confirm what we thought was going to happen pre-snap, and as soon as it's confirmed, we're going right foot, left foot, trying to stay away from the running back. I think we catch our foot right here a little bit, which obviously you got to just continue to work these reps as much as possible in there. Sometimes not going to be perfect, but right here we catch his foot just a little bit to kind of throw us off balance, but it's still accurate, good ball where we're using our feet, where we're getting our guy opportunity to make a play after the catch. As far as our practice is concerned, that's pretty much the way that we do it. We go from timing and drops with our pops and our ROAs to working on balance, to working on getting out of the pocket a little bit for when everything's not perfect, and then we go into our RPOs and a lot of ball handling. Next thing we want to do is just get reps, tons of reps of everything that we do. So create as many game-like reps for the quarterbacks as possible. Get some linemen in front of them, get some guys that are rushing, get them off their spot a little bit. Obviously, scale, one-on-ones, all that stuff is great. One-on-ones are great to throw the timing off with those guys so they have to reset their feet. But love to get as many game-like reps as possible throughout a day of practice. Literally every second of the practice, all seconds of the practice need to have some sort of wide receivers and quarterbacks throwing. Obviously, there are lots of people that have these nets and all this stuff. That's great. I've never seen them award a touchdown for throwing a ball into a net. So we need to throw with the receivers every second of every single practice. find a way to do it. Even if we're an inside, I'm going to throw one or two quarterbacks over there throwing with the receivers, whether it's just screens, whatever it is. Instead of having 2 or 3 quarterbacks standing around, they should be throwing and getting better and getting reps with the quarterbacks throwing catchable balls, getting better with the receivers and throwing catchable balls and getting better at different routes. But the other thing is you definitely don't want to let everything be perfect. So whether it's throwing out some looks that you're not prepared for or some things that you don't think they're actually going to see on film, obviously whenever you're throwing the ball a lot, you're going to get different looks that people typically don't give. So we got to make sure that we're not just robots out there playing football. The next thing we want to do every single day for at least 5 minutes, we're going to throw shots every single day. That's every day, no matter what, we're throwing shots. We're putting the ball in the air deep with full speed reps from every position. And the reason for that is if you don't practice it, if you don't emphasize it, you're not going to create big plays. And I remember as a quarterback that there would be times when I'd say, hey, I think this post is going to be here, and then you go through an entire week of practice, and you only throw it once because the scout team only gave you that look that one time, and you didn't throw it a ton in ROAs and stuff like that. So what we want to emphasize is, hey, we are going to take those shots, and we want to connect on them, so we want to throw it as many times as we can throughout the week and get really good at it and give our guys the opportunity to make a play. It's so much easier to score whenever you're creating explosive plays. You can't be perfect every single drive on a 10-play drive. Somebody's going to mess up. There's going to be a penalty. There's going to be a drop. There's going to be something like that. So if you can create big plays, you're going to score, and you're going to score more than you do. Even if you're trying to control it and go 10 plays, that's going to be really hard to do because somebody's going to mess up. These are high school kids. Something can happen. The more plays you're out there, the harder it is to score. I want to share one drill that we ended up doing this year that helped us a ton and got us a few easy completions. Was just creating a situation that was game-like. We had a coach, and this might even just be the running backs coach right there where I'm over at some other drill, where he's the linebacker right there that he would typically have, and if he free releases, obviously that's a hot. So right here what we tell the quarterback is, hey, just keep giving ground. That's an easy throw right there off your back foot. But if you don't rep it, it's not easy. So we've got to rep it with this guy getting his face, showing hands, all that stuff. So it's one of those things that he's done before that when it does come up, it's easy for him. And we repped this a few times thinking that we were going to get a blitz from that guy when we were releasing, and we had a couple really good clips of it, and we'll show you one. Here's a clip right here. We had the backer that we felt was going to blitz quite a bit this week, and we're free releasing our back right here, and we knew that if he blitzed, we were going to be hot and should be able to get the ball out, but you can see quarterback's one step, and if he would have peeled with that, now he just steps up in the pocket. Now he's going through his progression. But right here, he's hot. Keep giving a little bit of ground, get the ball out, and he's able to throw that with accuracy and give our guy opportunity and space right there to create some creative play for him. But right there, if you're not doing it and you're not doing it in practice and you're not emphasizing it, it's really hard for it to come to fruition on a Friday night. And right there, that's one of those things that we had started working that week a little bit. And obviously, we worked it a little bit earlier in the year, and we're going to have to work it a lot more as we go. But right there, that was a really good job of seeing the hot, getting it out, and making sure you get a completion right there. And I think that stems from just creating game-like reps throughout the season and throughout the week where he felt comfortable throwing that ball and was accurate and was able to make a pretty good play. So everything that we talked about so far is all about practice. The next part that we're going to talk about is just outside of practice, whether it's meetings, whether it's just talking with the guys, whatever it is. Number one thing we want to do with the quarterback is we want to build confidence. If the quarterback is not confident, he's not going to be a good player. Every quarterback we've had that's been successful is an extreme competitor and believes in himself, and all of them had a ton of success just because they worked extremely hard and knew that they could do it. And that's the number one thing for any quarterback. Whether they're throwing it every down, whether they're running the ball every down, quarterback has to have confidence, and he has to exude confidence to the rest of the team, the rest of the offense, that we're going to score every single drive. The next thing we're going to do every single week on Wednesday, we're going to ask the quarterback what he likes. Not only are we going to ask the starting quarterback, we're going to ask every quarterback down the line, what is your favorite pass? What is something you don't like? What is something that you don't feel comfortable with? When a quarterback tells you that there's something that he really likes and he feels comfortable with it, it's probably going to work out because it's one of those things that he's going to play with confidence and be accurate and stride through everything as far as his footwork, and it's probably going to work out for him. The next thing we've got to do is we've got to live in reality with every quarterback, whether it's the starter, again, whether it's the four-string guy, whether it's the sophomores, whatever it is, you have to live in reality. If a quarterback can't throw the ball over 50 yards, then you shouldn't be pushing it down the field with a big 5-step drop or anything like that and then stepping up and trying to drill it 70 yards downfield. That's probably not going to work. Not only does it extend from each quarterback's arm, but it's also athletic ability. Whenever you're talking about reading backside ends and stuff, certain guys can pull the ball more than others because they're going to be able to outrun an end even if he squeezes and stays square, as opposed to other quarterbacks may not be able to do that. And always don't force quarterback to do something he can't do. Look at all the reps. Look at the film from not only the games but the practices. If there's something that he can't throw on air, then you need to take it out. If there's something that he can't read as far as the RPOs and stuff, take it out. If it's not working in practice, if it's something that he's not comfortable with, there's no reason to call it because it is not going to be productive during the game. So you can't beat your head against the wall. You got to find what they like, communicate about it, and don't force something that you know you can't do. I appreciate you guys watching, and if you have any questions about anything, we keep it extremely simple. We get a ton of reps, and we focus on a few key things: being on balance, having great timing, and then be able to obviously feel comfortable whenever things break down or is not exactly ideal for a quarterback. But if you need to get in contact with me, my Twitter account, Kelley33. Then if you need to email me, coachescaviar@gmail.com. Kind of weird email right there, but I've got a YouTube channel, Coaches Caviar, and we'll put this up on the YouTube channel after the convention is over and everything like that. But feel free to reach out to me. We're open. We don't do anything that's groundbreaking. We just have a lot of great players, a lot of great coaches that teach the fundamentals, and we let those guys go out and play, and they love football, and they play extremely hard. But appreciate you guys listening, and if there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to reach out. Can't wait to be back down in Hot Springs next year for the clinic.